Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this 30 days masterclass series on electric vehicle design using MATLAB Simulink. This is Malaipan from Pantech Solutions. I welcome you everyone here to the day 12 induction motor speed control with MATLAB Simulink. I welcome you everyone. I welcome Abhishek, Yogendra, Anshul, Gautam Verma, Sayali, Praveen, Sarkhan, Gangaram, Ashwini, Nishant, welcome, Maya, Sachin, Vikrant, Sanjeev, Zubin, Sakshi, welcome participants, welcome, Aditya, great. I hope you have enjoyed this yesterday class. Hitesh, advocate, great, thank you. Afsal, Nishantini, welcome participants, Venkata Sunita, Arun Gach, welcome. Iftar Khan, warm welcome participants. Karthik, Mani, Archana, Chandan, warm welcome. Yes. Am I audible? Can you please comment in the comment box? Am I audible? Am I audible, participant? No. Good evening. Voice is low. Okay. Yeah, now is it okay, participants? Now is it okay? Now is it okay? Are you getting my voice clearly? Yeah, thank you. Yes. Please use headphone to hear the voice clearly. Thank you. Thank you, participants. Thank you. Yes. About the Pantech is a educational equipments manufacturing company for EEE, ECE, computer science, IT, robotics, and AI related products. You can get it. And our vision is to help 10 million students to learn the technology in easy way. So far, we have trained about 1.5 lakh students. So this year, we have targeted this 10 million students. An announcement, you have a attendance form at 7:30 p.m. Please don't forget the attendance form, and 25 days attendance is mandatory to get a webinar participation certificate. And batch 2 still September 5th you can join in the internship, so use this coupon code to get your discount. And so this is the internship as well as that YouTube class agenda. See, actually, today we are day 12. We are going to discuss about induction motor control with MATLAB Simulink. And tomorrow, permanent magnet synchronous motor, and then next day SRM motor. So these two motors are going to be happen in the next 2 days. So please keep engaged with the entire classes. And the bonus content which is available on the internship only, 10 projects. See here, the 10 projects nothing but, see, you can download the power converter design project, and then inverter design project, DC motor control 4-quadrant chopper project, and then BLDC control project, and induction motor. So like this I have scheduled 10 projects. Apart from this scheduled 10 projects, you can get a vector control of induction motor and solar PV powered electric vehicle system. So these two projects I have included in the internship. Those who are all interested, and if you are having a research activity in this area, so please go ahead. And so let us start the induction motor control mechanism. So I welcome you everyone for this induction motor speed control class. In this class, we are going to discuss what is the induction motor, basic working principle, and then type of the motors, and we can develop some project in the MATLAB for the induction motor control, and finally we can see the advantages, disadvantages, and then applications apart from the electric vehicle. See here, the electric vehicle, the induction motor is the compact. I mean, perfectly it's suitable to the one. And I mean, in this market, in the current market, Mahindra also released a three-wheeler with the induction motor control. And this is the induction motor. So here, this is the internal cross section of the induction motor. So in this motor, there are the two parts. One is called the stator as well as the rotor. So the stator will have a coil, and the rotor will have a permanent. I mean, the rotor will have a iron piece, right? So it's a bunch of conductor and formed as a iron piece, and then it will be terminated with the end ring or else external rheostat. So there are two different types. So let us check one by one what is the types and all. In this structure, if you apply a voltage to this stator, then inside the motor, so due to the AC supply, the rotor will receive a magnetic flux due to the air gap, right? So the working principle is mutual induction principle. So whenever you are applying a voltage to the stator coil, see, these are all the stator coils. So these are all the stator coils. So whenever you are applying voltage to this coil, then within this coil, one resultant flux will generate. See here, if you take any conducting material, if you apply voltage to the material, then what will happen? Around the conductor, so some electromagnetic field will get created. So that field will interact with the nearby iron piece or else the nearby field also. So that's why this is called, we are calling it as a induction principle, mutual induction principle. See here, we are applying a 3 voltage to the 3 coils. So whenever you are applying these 3 voltages, then the resultant voltage will generate. See here, if you take this one, if you are applying, see here, yeah. See, if you are applying 3 phases, 3 input, 3 phases. So if you take this cross section point, so in this point, the resultant flux, see, for example, the A will be the most, B will be the most positive, and then C will be the most negative. So in that case, the resultant voltage will be like this, right? So this voltage will generate a magnetic field in the rotor side, right? So this rotor side, because the rotor don't have any excitation. So by default, whenever you are applying a voltage to the stator, then the resultant flux will generate a. So this is the resultant flux. So this is the resultant flux. So this will induce a magnetic field in the rotor side. So due to that, the rotor will get a force. So magnetic force. So due to that force, the rotor will try to catch the stator flux. Now we are applying a rotating flux in the stator side. The rotating flux in the stator side nothing but the AC voltage will keep on rotate. So it's a time based quantity. So it will keep on rotate. So the resultant flux also will be the time based quantity. So it will get move on, right? So the rotor will try to catch the stator field. So you can easily understand the working principle. See here, the rotor will receive a magnetic field. So this magnetic field will try to catch the stator flux, right? So due to that principle, the rotor will receive a movement. So whenever the rotor receive a movement, then we can get a rotor spinning features in the shaft. So like that, the motor try to rotate from its standstill position. So this is very simple working principle. Simply we can easily understand. See here, if you are having a primary coil, and so this is the air gap, and this is secondary coil. Whenever you are applying voltage to this coil, then due to the mutual induction principle, the rotor will also receive a magnetic field. So here if you take this is simple transformer working principle. If you take the motor, so this part is a rotor rotating part. So due to the result, induction principle, the rotating part will receive a magnetic force to rotate from its standstill position. So this is very simplest working principle of the induction motor. So this is the type of the motor. So in the AC motor, you have a two type. One is called the synchronous motor and then asynchronous motor. And again in the asynchronous motor, single phase and three phase we can classify, and a few more. One is called squirrel cage induction motor and then wound rotor induction motor. The squirrel cage induction motor nothing but the rotor bars will be terminated with the end rings. Right, so whenever you are applying a voltage at the stator side, then the rotor will receive a magnetic flux, right? So that the flux is short circuited. So actually, suppose if you take this bar, so if this bar has some flux and then this bar, suppose if it has some flux, so in the case the two bars has been short circuited. So due to this principle, the rotor will receive a huge amount of current. So it will generate it generate a force to rotate from its standstill position. Always this rotor bars will be slightly deviated. It's not a perpendicular line, it will be slightly deviated angle will be mentioned. So this is called a squirrel cage induction motor. Similarly, slip ring induction motor or wound rotor motor. See again here, the instead of end rings, so the terminal will be connected and then taken out from the rotor side, and it's terminated with the resistance. So now if you change the resistance, then you can vary the motor speed. So this is for high power applications, we will use a wound rotor induction motor, but generally for the electric vehicle applications we are going to use squirrel cage type of motors only, not a wound rotor motor. So now what is the speed control mechanisms? See, in the speed control mechanism, first we can vary the variable frequency and variable voltage, and both parameters like variable voltage as well as the variable frequency, and then V by F concept. So the V by F concept nothing but we have to maintain the voltage with frequency ratio must be a constant one, right? So like that we can implement these methods to vary the induction motor principle, induction motor speed. So now let us check one by one, and so I'm going to open the MATLAB. Open the link. I hope you have installed the MATLAB and then you are practicing this past classes. So please follow the class examples and then practice it. Then only this 30 days will help you to understand the entire EV systems. So just to create a new blank model and just to save the simulation first. Experiment. Yes. So I have saved the simulation. Just open the library browser. Open the library browser and go to Simscape, electrical, and then specialized power systems, and go to fundamental blocks. So go to machines. So here asynchronous SI units, asynchronous machine SI units. Take this block. Just keep in your workspace. So now change this one. So this is wound rotor by default. So now we need a squirrel cage induction motor, and you can choose the preset ratings. So now I am going to choose the 50 Hz system. So here the 50 Hz system is there. So serial number 15, 5.4 HP, like a 4 kilowatt, 400 voltage, 50 Hz, 1430 RPM. So this is the maximum RPM. So remaining thing, no need to change anything. So just to choose this one. So now we have to connect a measurement block to this motor. So just to take a bus selector block and connect. See, actually straight away if you are opening this bus selector, then we cannot see the motor parameters. See here, you have to connect motor block, then only you can able to view the blocks. Just remove it, and now we are going to measure the speed and then electromagnetic torque, and stator current also you can take. Yes, so just apply here. Now now we can see the motor voltage, I mean motor parameters. So with this block we can see the motor parameter. So now we have to test the motor. So for that one, take a voltage, AC voltage source, and so you have to configure like a 325 is the peak voltage, 230 into root 2, and frequency 50 hertz. So since it's a A phase, you can keep 0 voltage, A phase, and similarly take a B phase. And C phase. See, actually in the B phase we have to introduce the phase delay 120 degree, and in the C phase again we have to introduce 240 degree. C phase. So now connect A, B and C. So just interconnect all these negative or neutral portions, and you can take a ground. Yes. So now we have applied 3-phase voltage to this motor, and take a scope block. And we need 3 numbers with the different layouts, and you can take 4 numbers also. So to connect the entire terminals, so just to choose the component here, just choose this component, keep control, and press the left click on the targeted block. So now you can connect all these components. Yes. So now we have to apply a constant voltage, sorry, constant torque via, we have to apply load torque via the constant block. Just take a constant block to apply a load torque. And finally we have to add one more block called power guide. So it's a header file for the sim power system toolboxes. Take constant. So now you can calculate the total full load torque. So just to calculate the full load torque and then paste in the command box. And take a power guide block. Take a power guide block and then apply discrete. And then now you can run the simulation for just 2 seconds. Now we are going to verify whether the motor is perfectly running for the ideal 3-phase input. Yeah, the speed is in the reverse directions. The speed is in the reverse direction. So in that case, you can change the phase angle -120, and then this is 120. So if you apply that one, then you can get a So initially the motor will draw more amount of current because due to the mutual induction principle, the rotor will receive a huge amount of rotor will draw more amount of current. So in that case, the stator current also will be huge. So once if the transient period is settled, then the rotor current will be the stator current will be very less. So this is the very simple working principle. So now we have to measure the input voltages also. So how we are measuring the input voltages? Take a voltage measurement block. Take a voltage measurement block. So this is V1, V2, V3, right? So just to interconnect all this one. We are going to measure the input voltages. A phase and B phase and C phase. And take a mux block, take 3 numbers so that we can measure the voltage as well as the phase sequences also. So just run the simulation. So here we have to take another common ground. Yes. Apply here. Just now you can run the simulation. Here we are applying a 3-phase input voltages and perfect voltage we are applying, and then motor is rotating at a rated speed. See if it is a 150 radian per second, so omega m, that is the radian per second. So in that case, if you convert to the rated power, sorry, RPM, then you can take a measurement. I mean in the RPM unit. So for that one, just to take a gain block and use 30 divided by pi. Yes, use 30 divided by pi, and now you can run. Then we can check whether the motor should be higher than the rated speed, because we have not applied the full load. Here about 1400, I mean 1430 is the rated speed. Now it is a 1500 RPM, right? So similarly, you can generate the motor control setup. So now we have to calculate the full load torque. So for the calculating the full load torque, T is equal to 2 pi nt T omega, right? P is equal to T omega. So omega is nothing but a 2 pi n divided by 60. So just apply the torque. So this is a P is nothing but this is a 5.4 HP. So from this you can take a 5.4 into 740, so that is 4 kilowatt. So 4 kilowatt divided by 2 pi n divided by 60. So n is a 1430 RPM. So if you calculate this one, then you can take a load torque, full load torque. So if you apply a full load torque, then you can get a rated speed. So this is the very simplest mechanism. Simply we are connecting the input, rated input, then we are measuring the output. So now how you can vary the frequency? See here, instead of 50 hertz, if you keep 60 hertz, or else you just keep it 25 hertz. Just to keep 25 hertz. So what you can get? So the speed must be lesser value. But in real time, see here, earlier it was 1500, now it is a about 750. So we have reduced the frequency from 50 to 75. So slightly the frequency, speed of the motor also it's get reduced, right? So in the induction motor, speed is directly proportional to the input supply frequency. So now you have a point, If you vary the input voltage, then you can vary the input supply frequency, then you can vary the speed, right? So if you're reducing the supply frequency, you have to keep all the supply phases are the same value. So in real time, we cannot directly change the frequency. So in between the supply and then in the motor, we have to keep one inverter, right? So here the inverter is going to get a controlled supply, AC output voltage with frequency. So already we have discussed a lot about 180 degree conduction mode and then 120 degree conduction mode. So now we are going to practice the same, and then we are going to check whether are we getting the proper output or not. So just take this as a input, change it here. You can move. So this is a first example. Let us change the name. To remove this one, and since it's a AC supply, then you can get a rectifier model to get a DC, because in the real time we will use the same principle only. So DC rectifier you can get. So just to take a universal bridge, and so instead of diode you can keep the instead of thyristor you can keep diode. So this is uncontrolled fully rectifier. So just connect A, B and C. So now we can get a DC output voltage. So straight away you cannot get that one. So we take a capacitor. So for that one capacitor, take a RLC series branch. And take a capacitance about 1000 microfarad, or else you can straight away you can use a DC supply 1000 microfarad. And again here we have to use filter components and all, but straight away I am going to take a DC supply, and for better supply better filtering method, keep two capacitors also. Suppose if the voltage is not properly coming, then you can keep two capacitors also. So in between this one capacitor, across this capacitor, you can get a DC voltage. So now you have to convert this DC voltage into the AC, right? So in this one only we can get a controlled AC output voltage as well as that frequency. This is the idea which you are going to use to control the induction motor. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? You please ask me. Ceiling fan motor is a single phase induction motor. Actually in that motor also we have to supply a two coils. So that's why we are keeping capacitor, because with the single phase we cannot generate a resultant magnetic flux. So we needed two phases. So then due to that principle only, the motor is going to start. Yes, VFD drive, exactly. Attendance link will be provided. Please don't rush up. Webinar certificate, today we have uploaded some webinar certificates, so please visit our website. Thank you, Mr. Rahul. Is ground terminal important? Yes, of course, its ground is important. How to convert three-phase universal bridge? So the three-phase universal bridge, just to open it and you can change the number of diodes or MOSFET, then automatically it will get changed. So if you use the two numbers, number of bridge arms, then it is single phase. For three phases, it will be a three numbers. For simple control mechanisms, you can use either 120-degree mode or 180-degree mode. So now we are going to conduct generate a three-phase inverter. Actually, you can use this bridge also. So just to rotate and take a MOSFET. Yes. So you have to flip the block. You have to flip the block. You for flip the block, you have to press Control I. Right. So this block will convert. We are applying a DC to the inverter block, and then it will generate a AC output voltage. A phase, B phase, and C phase. See here, within this block, the circuit will be like this. So the circuit will be like this, right? A, B, C. So this is A, B, C, and this is the positive and the negative. See here, in this circuit, 6 MOSFETs will be there, right? 6 MOSFETs. So this is the first MOSFET, second MOSFET, third MOSFET, fourth MOSFET, and then fifth MOSFET, and then sixth MOSFET. So now we have to generate a pulses like a P1, P2, P3, P4, and P5 and P6. So you have to combine all the pulses into the single mux, and then you have to connect as a single connector to the block. So now let us check one by one. Let us check one by one. Yeah. So first let us generate the pulses. For that one, take a pulse generator. So in the pulse generator, our fundamental frequency will be 1 by 50, right? The fundamental frequency is the 50 hertz. So the time period is 1 by 50, and then pulse width. So how you can calculate the pulse width? Suppose if you are going to apply a 120-degree mode, let us take a 120-degree mode. Okay. So for the 120-degree mode, the pulse width will be 120 divided by 360. So divided by 3. So this is the pulse width is the 33.33%, right? 33.33%. So now we have to take a pulse 33.33%. So for the P1, you can the phase delay is 0, right? The P1 phase delay is 0. So in the 120-degree mode, so let us check. So in the 120-degree mode, so just to take a graph, this graph P1, P2, P3, and then P4, P5, and then P6, right? See here, straight away just connect one first mode, second mode, third mode, fourth mode, fifth mode, and sixth mode. So just here the sixth mode will be here. Extend the graph. Extend the graph. So now let us take this is the 0 degree, and then 60 degree, 120, and then 180. And then 240, 300, and then 360. So this is the degree value. So now we are going to generate a PWM for the P1. So see here, this is the P1 value. P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So the P1 will be like this. So see here, this is the P1. The pulse will be like this. And then the P4. See, because actually in our inverter. So in our inverter 1 and then 4. So this is the 1, and this is the actually alternate switch, right? So whatever we are getting, so actually as per our universal bridge type, so this is the 2 value, and this is the, and then 3 4 5 6. Whereas actual topology, I mean in this concept wise, you can name this as a, here you can name like this. So actually some little bit confusion may happen, so please try to adjust this one. A B C, right? MOSFETs. See here, this is 1, and then 2 3 4 5 6. So if you take this switching pattern numbers, then you can straight away you can draw P1, and then this is the P2, and then this is the P3, like that you can start. Whereas if you are taking this pulses, this switching sequence, so the first switch must be higher, must be started at the 0th instant. At the 0th instant, the second switch will be the inverse of this one. So in that case, the inverse nothing but you have to start the P2 at 180 degree. So the 0 to 180 degree positive pulse, and then from 180 to 360 the negative pulse. So in that case, you have to turn on like this, right? And for the B phase, see here the B phase. B phase is the third one. So you have to turn on after 120 degrees. So because the P12, suppose if you are taking the state, if you are taking the value I mean 0, then 120 degree apart, right? So in that case, the 3 must be started at this point. And the opposite switch is the fourth one. So fourth one you have to turn on like this. And fifth and sixth, see here the fifth and sixth. So this is the fifth and sixth. So in that case, again from this 240 degree you have to start. So 0, 60, 120, and then 240. So here you have to start. So this is the fifth pulse. And after that, the sixth one, so it's an inverse one. So these are all the pulse area. See here, actually we have discussed the same point in the inverter section also. So see here, this is the pulse area. So these are all the pulse area. So this is 120 degree mode of conduction. 120 degree mode of conduction. For 180 degree mode, instead of 2 interval, you have to increase the third interval also. So now let us create a MATLAB pulses. Just to go to the experiment, take a pulse. So this is the P1. So we have taken, and for the inverse of the pulse, you have to introduce 10, I mean exactly 50% phase delay. So in that case, you can take a value, right? So just introduce 10 I mean for entire period 20 milliseconds. So we are going to introduce a half of the cycle, exactly half of the cycle. So in that case, 10 e power minus 3. Right? So let us check the value scope. Just to take a scope block, you have to verify with this proper timing frame. So then only your output will get proper. So just to take a 6 pulses. Just to take a 6 pulses. And so now let us run the simulation. Actually, the motor will not run because we have not applied anything, so it will run the randomly. So 2 seconds is more time, so just you can reduce the time also. See here we have developed 2 pulses. Just enlarge this one. So just enlarge this one, take a single scope, a single period, time period. See here we have started 0 degree, and exactly as per our diagram, as per our diagram, so this graph is happening. Yeah, see here, so just take this one. Yeah, so just take this one. P1 is generated, so this is the P1 pulse, and then this is the P2 pulse. So this is the P2 pulse, right? So P2 is exactly 180 degrees phase shifted. So similar that you have to generate up pulses and then verify with the scope. Then only your inverter output will be without error. You can get it output. So now I am going to take this another one. And for the B phase, you have to introduce the 120 degree phase shift. Take 120 degree mode. Already I have calculated, I have informed that how to calculate the degree. So just to take 1 by 50 divided by 360, this is the time period for the single degree. So just introduce 120 into this value. So you, from this you can get a 120 degree phase shift. And again from this 120 degree mode, again you have to shift. So see, as per the equations, as per the graph, for the B phase, this is the 120 degree mode, but with respect to this phase, this is the 0 degree. So in that case, the negative pulse will be 0 degree, and then again you have to introduce the 180 degree mode, 180 degree phase shift, right, for the second phase, that is that fourth switch. Just to take this one. So in that case, the first few cycles we have to omit because actually the pulse will get randomly. So in that case, first few cycles we cannot get the output, and after the few cycles you can get the output properly. So here you just add the same one with the 180 degree. So now let us verify. So first cycle we cannot get the proper output, whereas from the second cycle onwards it will give you the proper output. So just let us run for the just 3 cycles. 3 cycles is 0.06. So this is the 3 cycles. For the single cycle, 0.02 is a single cycle. For 3 cycles, 0.06 is the 3 cycles. Yes. Running. First phase is properly generated, and then this is the fourth pulse. So this is the fourth pulse. Exactly 180 degree phase shifted from this position. Right? See here, if you take this one, so exactly you can get a output. So from the second cycle to third cycle, exactly we can take. See here the 180 degree phase shifted, and then from the graph 180 degree phase shifted, and then from the graph left portion and then right portion. So like that you can generate. And similarly again we have to generate for the C phases. So for the C phase, again just to take this same graph, same pulses, and here now we have to introduce 240 degree, or yeah, just to take 240. So this is 240, and the bottom pulse will be again 180 degree we have to introduce from the 240. Just to connect to the graph. So run the simulation. So now you can connect all the pulses with the mux, then you can straight away connect to the inverter. So that's why we are taking this so much time. See here, I just take first cycle, just leave it from the second to third cycle. So 0.02, or else you can keep it a third cycle, 0.4 to 0.6. So this is the third cycle. So as per the graph, we have to draw the pulses as per the graph. So you see, actually this is perfect, and this sequence is also perfect, and this sequence, right, 5 and 6. So 5 and 6. So we are going to check. See here the 5 and 6. So this is the fifth PWM, and this is the sixth PWM. Yeah. See here the fifth PWM. So till that end you can get, and for the fifth PWM, sorry, sixth PWM, initial period will be empty, and after that 2 period, and rest empty. So now we are getting the exact pulse width modulation. So now you just connect to the mux and then integrate to the inverter. Just to take a mux block and keep it 6 numbers. Keep it 6 numbers, and yes. So now we have connected. So you can apply this pulse to the universal bridge, right? So like this, you can generate a PWM for this inverter. Similarly, we have to generate a 180-degree mode and sine pulse width modulation also. So let us move to the sine pulse width modulation. So now we have to run this simulation for more seconds. So within 3 cycles you cannot get output. So you have to run this simulation for at least 1 or 2 seconds. Let us take 2 seconds. Yeah. See here we are getting output. So since if we apply a proper EMI filter to the bridges, then we can get a proper voltage. See here, this is the 3-phase inverter output. So 3-phase inverter output, take this separate graph. Connect separate graph. Now whether are we generated the proper inverter output or not. So from this graph we can easily understand. Here if you take this is a single phase, so this is a single phase, and the phase is started from 0 and then 180-degree 120-degree apart, and then again 120-degree apart. So this spikes due to the filter components it's creating. So due to this filter components it is creating. So now we have to suppose if you are keeping the DC voltage, then we can avoid. Otherwise we have to introduce the LNC filter. So with this point, so if you implement a proper LNC filter, then we can avoid that filtering issues also. But as per the logic, it's perfectly running, right? So this is a single phase, 3-phase inverter working principle. And at the same time, now if you change the frequency here, instead of 50, if you apply as 30 or 40 or 25, then you can get a proper output waveform, right? So like this, you can generate a control signal for the induction motor, right? So if you have any questions about this experiment, so please comment. Thank you, Mr. Gautam. And in the, will you show me where is the power measurement block, the discrete mode? See here, the power measurement, you have to take a voltage and current, and then from that you can calculate the power. If you have any questions, you please ask me. Yash Kumar Singh, I am downloading all YouTube videos. It's not advisable, it's not legal, so you should not download the video. Yeah, in the power discrete mode V by F ratio applications. Yeah, we have added a few more experiments like how to generate a sine pulse width modulation and V by F model. Also, I already have prepared the V by F. So in the internship, you can get a step-by-step video. So I will show you the preparations. See here, I have developed the three phases: the input, the inverter, and simply I used a DC bridge and took the same motor, and this is the voltage and current measurement block. So I am taking this speed as a reference loop, and I am comparing this with the actual value. See here, this PI is just the trial and error we have generated. So this is the PI value, and output, no need to change anything. So by default it will give you the error control signal. See here, so this is the control signal frequency. If you integrate the frequency, you can get a theta value, so that is called omega value, right? So omega by default, so this is the, if you integrate the frequency, you can get a omega, that is called radian per second. So now you have to separate three different signals. So this is a simple constant block. If you use the square functions, square open bracket 0, 2 by 3 and then 1 by 3, then you can get you can generate a three different signals. So now we need a three reference sine pulse width modulations. So in that case, if you add first theta with 0, then that is a u1 value or phase A reference, and similarly 2 by 3 nothing but 120 degree apart, and then 240 degree apart, right? So 240 degree apart. So like that you can generate a three different signal, and up to 50 hertz. See here, if you are the graph in the V by F ratio. So in the V by F graph, see here, if you take graph, so if you are keep on turning, see here, this is the residual value. So this is the graph of the V by F ratio, right? So here the frequency should be properly connected. So suppose if you take this is the voltage and then frequency up to 50 hertz, so this should be linearly, gradually it should vary. Once if it is reached the 50 hertz, so in that case the magnitude should be saturated. So this is the saturated. So like that the V by F ratio we have to maintain at this level. Just a second. Yeah. So the graph should be like this. So frequency like this. So here the PI value, see here the PI degree will give you the frequency. So from this frequency, if you integrate, then you can get omega, right? So here, if you now you are going to add three omegas. So if you add with this one 0, then 0 omega plus 120 degree, and then omega plus 240 degree. So now you will get a three data, right? Three value. So 0 degree, and then 120 degree, and then 240 degree. So if you multiply this with sine 1, then sine omega t, sine omega t, right? So this sine omega t is limited by the gain block. So from this one, yeah, so this is sine omega t. So now we are getting this one, and 2 pi f, this is the input value f of t, right? And see here this gain block, so up to this level, the magnitude of the sine must be gradually vary with respect to the voltage. Once if it is reached the 50, then the frequency must be constant, right? The amplitude must be constant. So like that we are changing this one. So like that we are changing. So after that you can get a see here, this is the graph. So you can easily, I have already developed this one, and then it's a 2. The internship you can get step by step. So because there we are getting sufficient time. So initially the value will be 0, and after that it's gradually increasing the reference frequency amplitude. So once if it is reached, then it will keep on maintaining its constant value. So like that we are generating the 3 phases, 3 inputs, so 3 ABC, and the reference value is the common reference value, right? So if you compare the 3 ABC with the common reference, then you will get a pulse width modulation. So simple pulse width modulation. And now see here the closed loop advantage is, if you are running the value at load value is like 1, that is 1 Newton meter, but actual for the 5 HP motor you can load up to 20 point fraction, that is a 20.5 Newton meter you can apply, right? So now I am going to change the value. I am going to load the motor for 1 Newton meter. So for the 1 Newton meter we have applied the 1200 RPM, right? So it will settle nearby the 1200, because actually I have used the random PID tuner. Actually there is a procedure to tune the PID, proper PID value, but I have used a very random trial and error method. Yeah, so it will settle at certain 1200 RPM. So once if it is settled, now you can disturb the load. So here how you can disturb the load? So this is the load disturbances. So if you apply if you vary the value, then during that time also the speed should be maintained at a certain level. So once if it is a transient period is settled, then you can disturb the load. You can apply the disturbances. So how you can understand the transient period is over? The stator current will approach its minimum level. So during for the entire transient period, the stator current will be huge. So once if it is settled, transient period is over, then electromagnetic torque and then current will be less. So in the no load conditions. So now I think the load has been settled. So now we can disturb the system. So now I am going to increase the load torque with 0 to 10. So in that case, there is a torque has been increased, but still the speed has been adjusted, right? So but still the motor speed has been adjusted. So like that you can if the speed is adjusted, then your system is working properly. That is a closed loop system. So that is the advantages of the closed loop. And the current also it's getting increased. So while you load your motor, then the motor will draw more amount of current. So from this you can easily understand the concept. Yeah. See here the current draw by the motor is also increased. The torque, electromagnetic torque also increased. So with depends the motor load, then the loading is done. So still the motor is rotating in the constant speed, right? So like that you can implement the closed loop system. So you can download it from this Excel. You can download this project file from the internship portal. You can start use it for your research applications. So applications apart from the EV, other applications are there. Pumps, compressors, small fans, and then mixers. Everything you can use it. And so you can use this induction motor with electrical vehicles, advanced power electronic circuits, special machines, and also, I mean, for these applications and all, you can use it. And so from with this sine pulse width modulation technology or concept, you can do fax control research, as well as that smart grid, and then renewable energy grid integrations and all. This simple sine pulse width modulation concept is going to use in this one. Or if you need any custom related projects, so you can approach us. We will give you the solutions. Have any questions? Have any questions? You please ask. Power guy and discrete block. Already I have answered this lot of questions actually for the same questions. You please repeat the recheck the previous class. Recently I have shared the power guy definition in the WhatsApp group also. Thank you, Mr. Ajay Sagar. So we are running that batch 2 internship till 5th September. You can join in the internship. Advantages of using induction motor. Induction motor is the biggest facility, is the simple mechanism. The controlling is very simple, and then reliability also it's simple. But if you're comparing the induction motor with the PMSM, the PMSM will be the best one. But if you're comparing with the DC motor, the induction motor is the best one. Piyush Aryan, if you are a paid people, you can join in our VIP WhatsApp group. You can ask your queries. I will give you the answers. Thank you, Mr. Nishant. Thank you, Mr. Sherry. Thank you, thank you. What is bidirectional inverter? For the bidirectional inverter, that concept is entirely different. So PWM methods we have to generate. What is the use of CRO? CRO is a display device to measure the signals, voltage signals. Thank you, Mr. Ratan Raj. Is induction motor have limited load capacity? See, actually, if you take any motor, depends the rated power, that there is a load requirement. If you are designing a 100 kilowatt motor, then you can load up to 100 kilowatt Newton meter. Current EV scenario, which motor is used for the two-wheeler? For the two-wheeler, BLDC people are using. If you are an electrical engineer, then you must know the basics of the power electronics. So start learning the power electronics and take any one microcontroller. So become a master in the particular microcontroller. If you know the two skills, then definitely you can kickstart the career in the EV. Mansi, you please visit your internship portal. In the day one, I have given the WhatsApp group link, VIP WhatsApp group link. Thank you, Mr. Vanilla. Vanilla. In internship, there was more project on BMS. No, basic BMS example only I have given. Let me check, Mr. Shubha. Open source software. There are many open source softwares are there. Let me check and will share you. Thank you, Sagar. Thanks for your valuable comment. Which motor control is fast and easy? Fast, you cannot take that behavior, but whereas easy DC motor control is a very simplest control. If you have any more questions, you please ask me. Thank you, Abhishek. Everything is fine, but software response is late. See, actually, for that one, you have to increase your laptop or computer RAM memory. So instead of 4 GB or 8 GB, keep it 12 GB. So in that case, you can reduce the runtime. Which motor is used for three-wheeler and then four-wheeler? For a three-wheeler, up to three-wheeler, you can use a DC motor and then BLDC motor. More than three-wheeler or like a four-wheeler or multi-axle vehicle, you have to go with PMSM or induction motor or SR motor. I have not marked my attendance before days. Will it affect in certification? Yes, exactly. If you are being a webinar user, you have to submit 25 days attendance. If you are an internship user, no need to worry about the attendance. So automatically, whenever you are watching the video in the internship portal, then the attendance will get calculated. Thank you, Balaji. Thank you. Thank you. If you feel this class is good, please share your video feedback to my WhatsApp number. This is my WhatsApp number. So this is my WhatsApp number. So please share your video feedback to this number. Thank you. For three-wheeler, better keep BLDC motors. So depends the type of vehicle you have to choose the motor, not a power rating. So first you have to identify which number of wheels. Thank you, Nilesh. Yes, it is available on the MATLAB online. Sairam, you have to first identify the applications. Thank you, Devendra. Thank you, Sohim Shanti. Thank you, Gajendran. Thank you once again, guys. If you feel this class give you some idea about the inverter and then induction motor control, so please share your video feedback. The internship till now 12 classes completed, not uploaded video. See, actually, till day 10 I have uploaded, and then day 11 and then 12 I will upload it after this live. Ratna Raju, your point has been noted, so I will upload it shortly. PUBG fan. I am a last year's electrical student. You. Thank you, D'Souza. Thank you, Piyush. Thank you guys. Thanks once again. If you're interested in the internship program, so please enroll in this internship. Its cost is only 590 rupees. So use this coupon code batch2EV. So batch2EV. So just visit Google. Just visit Google Pantech e-learning. So /EV masterclass. So if you search here, you can get you can reach the our website. Just apply now. So go to our website and see here you just search here, have a coupon code. So just search and then apply coupon code batch 2 ATCH2 EV. Just apply, you will get a updated one. Yeah, actually I have chosen the few more classes. You have to remove it, then just go to yeah, so just remove this one. So like this you can remove it. Yeah, so now you can apply a coupon code, then you will get a 590 rupees. Then just proceed to click proceed to click checkout, then you can make the payment. After the payment you will get a payment receipt first, and then email in internship procedure you will get a email followingly. Internship videos validity for 2 months. Thank you participants, thanks for your valuable time here, and we'll get back to you tomorrow class. Thank you once again.